Welcome to YOUCANIC. In this video we're going to go over how you can test if your compressor is working or not. One thing you might notice is, especially if you try to charge your AC system, you might notice that the pressure is really high. It's at 100 or 150 even when the car is running and you turn on the AC and the AC doesn't blow cold and the pressure is really high. You think like, oh, maybe that's an issue. That's usually not an issue with the charging system with the pressure inside. So your system is probably is fully charged, because when the AC compressor is turned off, or typically when the car is turned off, the pressure does stay at 100 around 100 psi, a normal healthy system. But the reason why it's still staying at 100 or 150 after you turn on the car is because the AC compressor is not kicking on, so it's not engaging. And there is a few reasons why that might not be working. It could be AC compressor relay that's bad. That's not very common. The more common issue is that AC compressor itself is bad. And that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to go over the steps on how to check. If the first thing you need to do is you do a visual check. You start the engine, turn the AC on, put the temperature to a lowest setting, and then put the fan, lower fan inside the car, maximum speed. And then you'll come and locate the AC compressor. Just follow the drive belt here, and the AC compressor is usually at the bottom. And you can look at the clutch. If that clutch in the center part of the pulley is staying steady, but you see the outside of the pulley rotating, it means the AC compressor is not engaged. So if the AC compressor is working, that center piece should start spinning with the pulley as well. So let's take a look at this one really quick. So here you can see the pulley. We don't have the car running right now, but you can see this from the top of the engine. It's a little bit better looking from it from down here. The belt will be spinning this part right here. That pulley will be spinning, but the center part should be spinning if the system is working properly. But a lot of times that's not spinning. It means that either the AC compressor itself is faulty, or it's not getting the signal for the AC clutch to engage. So there's a wire that comes, one feed wire that's a positive that comes to the AC compressor, and that's what forces this clutch to engage or disengage, which of course engages and disengages the whole AC compressor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna test if this AC compressor is good, and there's two things we need to test. First of all, we're gonna feed the AC compressor 12 volt, and we're gonna see if that kicks in. So if that kicks in, then you know that AC compressor is not getting power. There's something electrical. There's the computer, the AC control unit or something. Maybe the relay is bad, and there's no power coming to this. And then we're gonna also check the line coming to the AC compressor and see to check the electrical system itself that we just mentioned. So first, let's check if the AC compressor itself will engage. If we feed it power directly, bypassing the whole AC system, we're just gonna feed power to that and see if that will engage. Okay. So here we have disconnected the AC compressor. This is the wire that goes to the AC compressor itself. Of course, you can measure the resistance, and you should see resistance there, and if there is none, you have an open circuit. But the easier way is to basically feed the AC compressor. You can feed that 12 volt for 2-3 seconds and see that if that engages. That's what we're gonna do. Now you gotta be careful here, because you don't want this. We're gonna feed this 12 volt positive. You don't want this to short to the ground, to the vehicle. So let's go ahead, start the vehicle, and we are going to connect this directly to the battery and see if the AC compressor engages. You only want to connect it for about 5 seconds, no longer than that, and see if the clutch engages over there. If you notice the clutch engaging, you can go inside the vehicle and see if the AC is getting cold. And now let's go ahead and try that. So you'd come here, and this is the other end of that cable that we are feeding the AC compressor itself. And right now I don't even have the car started, but you can tap this a little bit. You should see sparks there, because power is gonna go and to the AC compressor. You can see here there's no power no sparks at all. There's no current flowing to that AC compressor. But you want to just verify. You want to start the car and then do this about 5 seconds each time, and have somebody look at the AC clutch. The AC clutch should start spinning when you do this. If it doesn't, then you know your AC compressor is not working, and that's the case with this vehicle. But so let's say you're doing this and then you see the AC compressor is kicking in, it's starting to spin with the pulley, is engaging, and then your AC starts to work inside. Then you think, well, why does my car not start? Like, AC compressor is good. Obviously you just tested it. And the reason is that maybe the AC compressor, when everything's connected, is not getting the 12 feet from, could be the controls on your dashboard. It could be the AC control unit. It can be a relay. It could be a cut wire that goes to the AC compressor. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to check the wire that goes to the AC compressor, and if that is working properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect this down there. We're going to connect it on the other end, and we are going to measure the voltage when we turn on the car. We turn on the AC, and here we should see 12 volt as we turn the AC on and off. When we turn AC on, this should show 12 volt. We turn the AC off, it should go down to about 0. So that's how you know that you're getting power to it. So let's reconnect down there. We're gonna connect to the other side, to the wire that goes to the compressor, not to the compressor wire itself. That goes into the compressor, the wire that goes, and the other end of it. So here we have the connector that feeds the AC compressor. Sometimes this is easier to access from underneath, but in this case we can reach it up here, and it's easier to demonstrate. So this wire comes and goes to the fuse panel, and then it gets controlled by the AC control unit. So we're gonna feed this. We're gonna connect this right here. Okay. Alright, so I have that connected there, and the other end is right here. We have our voltmeter set to measure volts. If you have the voltmeters that you have to select the range for 20 volt, and this is what you want to measure. This is a DC current, that's alternating current. You don't want that, that's for home voltage. This is the DC current. So beyond that setting, select 20 if you have to select the range, and then the other end you're going to connect to the negative. So basically we're measuring if when you turn on the AC, you press the AC button on, is power going to the AC compressor? Is everything working fine to feed and turn on the AC compressor clutch, basically? So we're going to start the car here, and we're going to take a look at this as we turn on and off the AC. So we have the AC running. Here we have the engine running. We're going to turn on the AC, and you can see that goes 13 volts. We turn it off, it goes back to 0. So as you turn it on and off, right now we have it on. There's 13 volts right there. So you know that there is power going to feed the AC compressor. So there we saw that there is this line that feeds the AC compressor clutch that we have right there is getting 12 volts. Is trying to tell the AC compressor turn on and off. So everything is working as far as the AC control unit, you know, the buttons on the dashboard, the relay, and everything else is working. It's just that the AC compressor is not turning on at all. So that is what's going on in this case. Like, the AC compressor itself is bad. The AC system also has a AC pressure switch, so if the pressure is too low, it tells the AC compressor to not engage because it can get damaged. So, but in this case, everything is working. The AC compressor switch is not, preventing the AC compressor from getting fed. So the whole system, electrical system, is working. Just the AC compressor is faulty, and that's how you can diagnose a bad AC compressor. Thank you for watching.